Yes, we'll start the class. So I would thank everyone for attempting the MCQ yesterday. And I think one question was issue that Ohm's law. So all the above was correct. So whoever got it wrong, you can add +1 to your tally. And I think that should be a brush up of your basics. You should be thorough in basics. Any doubt in that we'll discuss at the end of the class today. Okay. So whatever we have seen till yesterday is all about network simplification. Now we are going to start with network analysis. Okay, so the two types of analysis are there. First one is mesh analysis, and second one is node analysis. Okay, so two analyses are prominent in our circuit theory. It is called as mesh analysis and node analysis. Mesh analysis, I'll be using KVL. Okay, in mesh, I'll be using Kirchhoff voltage law. In node, I'm going to use Kirchhoff current law. So know the difference between both. So in mesh, I'll be using KVL. In node, I'll be using KCL. See, the same problem you can solve it using KVL or KCL. It depends on your convenience only. And I will assure you that you'll get the same answer. Whatever you get in KVL, if you solve using KCL, you'll get the same answer. The methods are going to be different, and I leave the method which you choose to solve the problem to yourself. Okay. So first we'll take a problem. We'll say take a simple problem. We'll solve the same thing by mesh analysis. We'll take the same problem again. We'll solve by node analysis and see how the answers are going to be same. Is that is going to be our agenda for the day. Okay, so we are going to take a simple problem. I'm going to apply KVL and KC. I'm going to apply KVL. I'm going to use mesh analysis and I'm going to see what is the answer I'm going to get. It's the same problem. If I'm going to use KCL, I will be getting the same answer. So we are going to see how we are going to get that. I hope you're all able to see the diagram on the screen. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. See, this concept what I teach is very, very important. Please understand this because this is used everywhere. Mesh analysis. So see, there are two terms called mesh and loop. See, loop means generally a closed path. Mesh means a closed path which has no closed path inside that. So I would say difference between mesh and loop is a large closed path, and mesh is a closed path which will not have any sub closed paths inside. So if you take this circuit diagram which you see, how many loops are there? How many loops are there?
Three.
Three.
You are able to see three loops here. This
Two,
is
sir. Two,
this
sir.
is one, and this is one. Now can you able to see three loops here?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
See
yes, sir.
the three loops should be distinct. They should not be the same. So I have two smaller loops and one bigger loop. And how many meshes are there in this diagram?
Two meshes.
Two, sir.
Two
Two, sir.
meshes. You're able to understand the difference between mesh and loop here. See, loop will be always larger than or equal to the number of meshes you have. So mesh will be the smallest number of loops. You don't have subloop inside a mesh. Okay. So this diagram is given, and what they have asked in this diagram, find Vx. And Vx is the voltage across this resistance 2 ohms. So I'm going to find this voltage using mesh analysis. Okay. So the first thing in mesh analysis, what you have to do is identify the mesh. So here I have identified two meshes here. So the two meshes are this one and this one. After identifying the mesh, assume the current direction. So as you always know, the current is assumed to flow away from the battery. Okay. So we are going to use that logic. So first mesh you see ultimately in some books they use mesh and loop synonymously. So there is nothing wrong in using mesh and loop synonymously, but logic wise, remember they are not same, but you can simply replace mesh by loop also and use for your convenience. Okay, so there are two loops here. Actually, logically three loops, but assuming mesh and loop are almost same synonymous, so I'm going to use there are two loops here. So I'm going to find the current. Okay, so I'm going to assume the direction of current. See, the first loop you have voltage source, and you know current is going to be flowing always away from the source. So the current is going to be flowing in the clockwise direction. I'm going to name it as I1. Okay. Second loop, you have to check for any voltage source. If there is voltage source, then you have to mark the current direction accordingly. If there is no voltage source, then you can take the direction of current same as your first loop. Okay, first loop I have assumed to be clockwise because the voltage source is applying current in this way, correct? The second loop also I'm going to assume it as clockwise. So see the directions I have assumed here. The first loop I have assumed it clockwise because you have voltage source, current is always flowing away from the voltage source. Second loop, I don't have a voltage source. So the current source, the direction of current is assumed to be same as the current of the previous loop. And I'm marking the polarity plus minus everywhere. Depending on the current flow in each of the loops, identify the polarity of each node. Resistors, you have 10 ohm resistor, you have 5 ohm, you have 1, 2 ohm, and you have 1, 2 ohm. So 4 resistors mark all the polarities based on the current flow. Okay. So now we are going to write the equation for mesh 1. See how many meshes are there, that many equations you get, that many parameters you have to solve and get the unknown. See, two currents are there, two meshes are there, so you will get two equations. With all the two equations, we can find the value of current I1 and I2. Okay, so first I'm going to take mesh 1, this one. Okay, so we are going to apply Kirchhoff voltage law. I want somebody to say the equation for Kirchhoff voltage law. Muthukumar.
Sir,
Muthukumar, can you say the Kirchhoff voltage law for the first mesh?
sir, 100 minus
Okay.
minus
Nine.
minus 10, sir.
Why 10?
Sir, because the current is plus and minus, sir.
Minus is correct, but why you are saying 10? We are going to add the voltage. The resistance is 10 ohm. I didn't mention the voltage as 10 ohm. So
I,
100
sir.
minus what is the
I,
voltage across 10, what is the voltage across 10 ohm? Use Ohm's law. What is Ohm's law? V is equal to
IR.
what is the current flowing through the 10 ohm resistance?
Sir, I into 10, sir.
I, yeah. See the current properly and say what current I have assumed in that mesh. I1, right?
Yes, sir, I1.
So 100 minus
Minus
I1 into
I1
10.
into 10.
Good. For the 5 ohm resistor.
Minus I1 5, sir. Equal to 0.
Yes. See, see the 5 ohm resistor, only current I1 is flowing.
No, sir. It is I2 also coming, sir.
See, as per what you said, 100 minus 10 I1 minus 5 I1. Okay, but see, 10 across 10 ohms only I1 is flowing, but across 5 ohms is I1 the only current flowing.
No, sir. I2 also.
I2 is also flowing. How are I1 and I2 in direction? Across 5 ohms, how is I1 traveling and how is I2 traveling?
So
I1 is coming from top to
plus,
bottom, and I2
plus
is going from bottom to top.
top, sir.
The direction is completely.
Difference, sir.
So I should
Minus
take minus 5 into I1 minus I2.
I2. Okay,
See,
sir.
this step is very, very important. If you don't write I1 minus I2, your entire calculations will go wrong.
Okay, sir.
Anybody is having doubt in this step? Yes, you can mute yourself. Thank you. Anybody is having doubt in this step?
No, sir.
So why not I2 minus I1, sir?
Why? What is?
Why not I2 minus I1? I understand both
Yeah,
the currents are going through the resistor.
yes. Which loop we are focusing now?
The I1 loop, though.
Yes, that for I1, our focus is on I1 first. So we write I1 minus I2.
Oh, okay.
If you take the second loop and write, you will obviously write I2 minus I1 because there I2 is the dominant current. Is that clear?
I understand.
See the final equation 100 minus I1 into 10 minus 5 into actually if there is no more current you will get minus 5 into I1 only. But since you have two currents flowing through 5 ohm and the two currents are completely opposite in direction, 5 into I1 minus I2 equal to 0. This is the equation for me. Kirchhoff voltage law. The algebraic sum of voltages in a closed path is going to be 0. So now you simplify 100 equal to 10 I1 plus 5 I1 minus 5 I2. So for 15, if you simply add 10 I1 plus 5 I1 is 15 I2 minus 5 I2 equal to 0. I'm dividing by 5. So 3 I1 minus I2 equal to 20. This is your equation number 1. Any doubt till equation number 1? So if you write this equation correctly, then getting this step is very, very simple, just simplification. But here, the tricky thing is you should not miss this I1 minus I2. If you just write I1, the answer is wrong. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Are things clear? Shall we go to the second loop?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
See the second loop and write the equation. Neeraja is there.
Hello,
Neeraja,
yes,
are
sir.
you there?
Hello.
Can you say the equation for the second loop?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah, right. Say the KVL for the second loop. See the diagram is on the screen. You can see it from the diagram and say.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Don't worry. Just give a try. Nothing wrong.
100 minus 2v.
Second loop is I2. First loop is
Yes.
100 is then first loop. Second loop.
Minus 2i2
Very good.
minus 2i2
Very good.
then
Across 5 ohms. What currents are flowing across 5 ohms?
5 ohm is
Which current is flowing through 5 ohm? Only I1 or only I2 or both?
only i1, sir.
Only I1. Is I2 not flowing from bottom to top?
Yes, sir. Both are going, sir. I1 and I2
Both are in what direction across 5 ohm?
opposite direction.
So what you should put?
Minus, sir. So
What
minus
what? What minus what? First loop we have taken I1 minus I2. Second loop, what is the current we are focusing?
I2, sir. So I2 minus
So-
I1, sir.
And what is the sign of that 5? 5 into I2 minus I1 plus or minus?
Plus.
Plus. See the current flow in 5 ohm. It is going from plus to minus. Plus to minus means?
Plus.
Plus to minus is plus.
No, sir. Wait, sir. 1 minute, sir.
See, across 2 ohms, how did you say? The same logic apply here. 2 ohms, you told minus 2 into I2, right?
Yes, sir.
5 can now wrong.
5k.
5 also, it is going from plus to minus. So sign and now wrong.
Minus, sir.
Minus 5 into I2 minus I1. You are clear or not?
Yes, sir. I'm clear, sir.
Anybody is having doubt? See, I have written it directly. So it is minus 2 I2 again minus 5 into I2 minus I1. So if you again here you put 5 into I1 minus I2, it is wrong because whichever mesh you are considering, that current is your focus. The other current will always come after that. So everywhere you have minus sign, you can take the other side, everything will become positive. That's why I have written this step. An algebraic sum of voltage is equal to 0. So if you simplify, what you get? 4I2 plus 5I2 minus 5I1 equal to 0, or 5I1 minus 9I2 equal to 0. This is your equation number 2. Anybody is having doubts in equation number 2?
Sir, can you explain one more time for
Clear.
the loop 2 equation also?
See, loop 2 first you see there is no voltage source, correct? So no plus some voltage will not come here. So you have to directly start from the resistance. First see which resistance are there in loop 2 only. See 2 ohms and 2 ohms are there only in loop 2. This 5 ohm is common to both loop 1 and loop 2, right? So first write for this 2 ohms. See the current flowing to 2 ohms is I2. It is flowing from plus to minus, so it is minus 2I2. Same way, see here, current flowing to 2 ohm is I2. Again, the direction is plus to minus, so again minus 2I2. See, when you come to 5 ohms, see, in 5 ohms, I1 is coming from top to bottom like this. And I2 is growing from bottom to top like this. The current directions are different. So effectively, you have to subtract. And how will you subtract? You have to use I2 minus I1 because I2 is our focus. And see, the current flow polarity is plus to minus. Plus to minus means you'll put a minus sign. So 2 minus 2I2 minus 2I2 minus 5 into I2 minus I1 equal to 0.
I2 minus I1.
Yes. minus 5, all minus sign because there is no voltage source. Correct? All minus sign except for a 5 on the 5 alone, you get I2 minus I1 because first you focus on I2, then only that I1 is coming. That's
Okay,
fine.
sir.
Now, how will you solve two equations? Here you have two simultaneous equations. How will you solve them?
Elimination method.
Elimination. Are there any other simple method? You know Cramer's rule?
Is
You
it
know
using the
Cramer's rule?
matrix? Or
Yes.
are they using matrix?
Yes. You will be using determinant in Cramer's rule. See, I am taking these two equations. See, I have written the two equations here. 3I1 minus I2 equal to 20. 5I1 minus 9I2 equal to 0. First, write the coefficients of the variable term. 3 minus 1, 5 minus 9. Determinant. 3 minus 1, 5 minus 9. You know how to expand a determinant, right? So the determinant value comes out to be 22. I think you should have studied Cramer's rule, right? Max?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Same thing. Instead of solving by substitution or elimination, you can solve it that method also, nothing wrong. But this should be even more simple. Please solve the two equations and send me the answer. I have given the two equations, solve it and send me the answer.
Sir, I don't know Cramer's rule, sir.
Okay, listen, Cramer's rule is first you will form determinant delta. You know what is determinant, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, see, determinant is based on the equation. Whatever the coefficients are there in I1 and I2, write it. So, see, the coefficient of I1 is 3. So, first write 3. The coefficient of I2 is minus 1, right? Minus 1. The coefficient of I1 is 5. Next row. Coefficient of I2 is minus 9. So, this is your delta. So, find out the delta. So, 3 into minus 9 minus of minus 5. Expand the determinant. So, the determinant value comes to be minus 22. Now, I am going to find I1. The formula for I1 as per Cramer's rule is I1 equal to delta 1 by delta. What is delta 1 means? In the determinant, you have to replace the first column by this constant. See here, 20, 0. The second column will be same, minus 1, minus 9. Divided by delta. What is delta we got? Minus 22. So the answer will be 20 into minus 9 by minus 22. So you will get the answer as 8.18 amperes. For finding I2, it is delta 2 by delta. What is delta 2? You have to replace the second column by the constant. The first column will be same. See here, 3, 5. 3, 5. The second column is replaced by this constant, 20, 0. So 3, 5, 20, 0 divided by minus 22. Or if you expand, you get 3 into 0 minus 100 or minus 100 by minus 22. You get the answer as 4.54 amperes. Even if you solve it by normal substitution or elimination method, you will get the same answer. But this method is also available. You can use it. Any doubts in this method?
No, sir.
This is very easy. This should be very simple for you to solve. Just find the determinant, dividing. That's all. And anybody did by elimination method or substitution method? Are you getting the same answer?
Yes, sir. I'm getting for I1
See,
8.18 and I2 is 4.54.
yes,
I
absolutely
did
right.
the substitution.
Yes. See, if you do substitution or elimination, you can parallelly do Cramer's rule also and cross-check your answer because whatever method you do, the answer is going to be same, right? So there is a scope for cross-checking your answer here. And see here, one thing to be observed, the current values what you get are positive. Yes, which means that the direction of current which you have assumed is correct. If you have assumed the current in anti-clockwise way in both the loops, then you will get the current value as negative. You know that which reminds you that the direction what you have assumed is wrong. It has to be the opposite direction. Yes. So I told you previously, right? In questions, if they give the direction of current, use that. Otherwise, always take the current by this method. What I told. Current should flow away from your battery. And if you take it properly, you'll get the value of current always as positive. The positive current means it ensures that what the direction you have taken is absolutely correct. If the current, for example, you get it as minus 8.18 amperes, which means that The current is 8.18 amperes, but the direction what you have assumed is wrong. It has to be the other way what you have assumed. That is the significance of the value of current what you get. See, what is the question? What we were asked to find in the question? Find the voltage Vx. What is the voltage Vx? It is the voltage across this 2 ohm resistor. You have to go back to Ohm's law. What is the voltage in Ohm's law? V is equal to IR, right? So Vx will be equal to what is the current flowing through this 2 ohm resistor?
I2.
I2. So Vx will be equal to I2 into 2, correct? So Vx, see here, finally Vx equal to I2 into 2. So you get the answer for Vx as 9.08 volts. 9.08 volts. In case, if they ask in the question, find the current flowing through 5 ohms, what will be your answer? We are actually finding Vx, the answer is over. In case, if they ask the question, find the current flowing through the 5 ohm resistor, what will be your answer?
I1 minus I2.
I1 minus I2 or I2 minus I1?
I1 minus I2, sir.
Yeah.
How?
I1 minus.
Sir, I1, the value of I1 is more, no, sir. So,
Yes, the creator always. Yes. Somebody told something I could not hear. Yes, what you said is correct. It is always larger current minus smaller current. So I1 minus I2. So the current flowing through the 5 ohm is 8.18 minus 4.54. You will get close to 3.6 amperes if I am approximately right. You will get 3.6 amperes. And if they ask power dissipated, power, you know the formula I square into R. So you know the current across each resistor. You can find the power dissipated by the formula I square into R, and the answer will be in watts. So anything can be asked in mesh analysis. They may ask the voltage across a resistor. They may ask current through a resistor. They may ask power delivered across the resistor. So anything and everything may be asked in mesh analysis. You should know the formulas to apply appropriately and get your answers. Okay. If the mesh analysis clear to you, see, if you have 3 loops, you will have 3 equations and you have to solve it and get the value of 3 currents. Here we have 2 mesh or 2 loops, so we are getting 2 equations for solving. So number of equations will be equal to number of loops. That is the logic. Shall we go to node analysis? Is mesh analysis clear for everyone? Anybody is having doubts?
Yes, sir.
See, only if you practice more problems, you will be comfortable writing the mesh equation across the loops. Otherwise, if you just look at the problem, it will not be very simple.